Nimakoma kontek tansei, niatani atawa pamtikuk. Thank you, Elder Unaswan, for your words. Being authentic is extremely important in life, and I really appreciate your thoughts and your prayers. We are gathered here in the beautiful city, our beautiful city, with all of our beautiful people. It is Treaty 1 territory, homeland of the Anishinaabe Nation, Nehio Dene peoples. It is the homeland of the Métis Nation, the land of Riel, la terre de Riel. C'est le berceau de la langue de Molière, ici sur les plaines. Winnipeg is also home to thousands of Inuit peoples who call Manitoba and Winnipeg home. And of course, it is home to each and every one of us, and we all live here together. I'd like to thank you all for coming here today to spend time to hear policy ideas which have been put forward by citizens of Winnipeg for the mayoral election of 2022. Your voice truly matters. When one looks at the people of our city, we can find hundreds of thousands of people who have all the solutions to many of our most pressing issues. And we need to start listening to those solutions. We all want a better city, and many are willing to put forward the effort and time in making the city a better place. And mayoral campaigns should always be about people. When we started this campaign, it was about us as a city. We face many challenges in our city, from homelessness to mental health, addictions, having green spaces and green policies, housing, jobs, community centers, infrastructure, roads, potholes, policing, firefighters, and paramedic services. My brothers and sisters, for too long, we have been letting others who think they know better decide for us, to tell us their solutions to the issues facing our city. Unfortunately, these solutions always seem to be the same old, same old. So let us take time to reflect for a moment and act outside of that tired old box. We need to challenge how things are done to make sure that things get done. And that is why we are here today. I'm here with my friends, Mr. and Mrs. Adeo. Their story is a very tragic story. They came from the Philippines working extremely hard, and many of you know their story. You've heard of it in the news. They invested their love and their care and protection into their family, and especially into their son, Jim Boy, who was an excellent young man who was studying hard in grade 12, who was set to graduate from Tech-Voc High School. And due to a home invasion, he was killed. That is the potential of one family which was lost. But that story should not define our whole city. But that is what it's coming down to far too often. And we often talk about crime in the same old ways. Let us do things the same old way all the time. But what we need to do is actually apply leadership and courage to the issue of policing. Winnipeg boasts some of the highest police spending per capita of any major Canadian city, with the 2022 Winnipeg Police Service budget exceeding $310 million and accounting for over 26% of the City of Winnipeg's total budget. However, ever increased police funding has had little impact on the crime Winnipeggers face day to day. Violent crimes, property crimes, all crimes are up year over year and have begun to top 5-year averages. Winnipeggers are frustrated. All of us are looking for more from the police and more of a say as to the policing that they do. Now, along with Winnipeg's patients, police also find themselves stretched very thin, reacting to an increasing number of 911 calls. They are treated as the Swiss Army knife for the city's problems. The police are responding to calls that they are not properly suited for, calls better suited to health, social services, and community organizations. What the city is doing isn't working, and throwing more money at the police service is not the answer. If we want to build the city we want, we need to redefine our relationship with the Winnipeg Police Service, and we need to rethink how we deal with crime prevention and solving of crime. As mayor and council, we must work together with the community and police to bring a more community-focused approach to safety that includes the efforts of the Winnipeg Police Service and frontline community organizations with enhanced training for officers and also a full review of the Winnipeg Police Board. We need to work together, and we have heard that innovation is key. Council will debate the creation of the Community Safety and Innovation Fund and freeze the police budget at its current level of $310 million for 4 years. This new fund would be open to applications by community groups and organizations and also the Winnipeg Police Service to help provide funding to create proactive programs that would help reduce crime. Financing for this innovation fund would come from what would have been the annual budget increases for the Winnipeg Police Service. Over a 4-year period, this could be more than $21 million available for community-based safety initiatives. A City Council committee would establish priorities and measurable outcomes to evaluate different proposals from community groups and the police. A community group may partner with the police, which would result in true community partnerships with the police. The Winnipeg Police Service and City must be more innovative in its crime prevention and solving measures. We want to see significant improvements in the crime rate and the Winnipeg Police Service's ability to solve crimes given its existing budget. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The goal is to take a load off the police so that they can focus on what they do best. Next, we must work to enhance the training of the Winnipeg Police Service, taking a lead from former Winnipeg Police Chief David Castle, who is advocating for a reform of police training standards. Police training, David Castle said, shouldn't be like it is today, with its sharp focus on paramilitary format, rules, and physical and firearm skills, which he calls a boot camp style type of training. To continue his quote, a standard, modernized curriculum also needs to incorporate teachings on racism, bias, and the impact of colonization on Indigenous peoples. Most police officers never learn any of that, and if they haven't learned it in school, they really know very little about it, as well as understanding and dealing with people with health problems and marginalized groups, to end quote. Training and policing should incorporate the history of our city, a history that includes the good, the bad, and sometimes the ugly of our city's relationship with the police, and make sure we attempt to build a more inclusive society for each and every one of us. Castle has also argued that the federal government should put in place national standards for training, something I will stand for and advocate for as well. And finally, we Winnipeg must work with Council to conduct a full community-based review of the Winnipeg Police Board and its governance of the Winnipeg Police Service. The role of the Winnipeg Police Board is to provide civilian governance and oversight of the Winnipeg Police Service. However, at issue is the high turnover of board members, which include city councillors and community members, who are quietly leaving or quitting because they do not feel that they are heard. We can't forget that the Winnipeg Police Board was created because our community's desire for improved policing and a say in how that policing is done. The last major change to the Winnipeg Police Board happened 10 years ago, and the Winnipeg Police Board needs to be updated to reflect what we have learned. The role of the board needs to be strengthened so that board members feel they have the opportunity to provide true governance and oversight of all the activities and policy direction of the police. A community-based review of the board by City Council would engage with all stakeholders and develop new guidelines and provide suggested changes to existing provincial legislation and city bylaws. The police board changes would require the mayor and council working with the province to amend legislation, in particular the Police Services Act. Again, our city, will find ourselves banging up against the rules and jurisdiction of the provinces, but to build the city that we want, a city that is safe, thriving, and livable for each and every one of us, we need to change the rules. Our dream, my dream for the city, is that no family need suffer what happened to Jim Boy Adeo, or to the Adeo family. A bright young man with a future, a family who misses him a lot. I know because I am friends with many of the family members, including sometimes on Facebook, and I get to hear about him all the time. Whether they're here in Canada or at home in the Philippines, they post a lot about him. And the whole business today is actually dedicated to his memory, founding many new franchisees right across Winnipeg and even around the world. We should never accept this situation, though, that it has come to this, the loss of a young man. We shouldn't accept it for ourselves, and we shouldn't accept it for other members in our community. I'd like to thank you very much. Merci à Kikitwam. Merci beaucoup pour avoir venu ici aujourd'hui. C'est gentil. Alors, on procède à des questions.